Oh, I love him.
Enough
He's
about
really
him,
great,
though.
You know, I've only heard great things about people going there and working.
Here in Billings?
Yes.
Well, you've only heard from Lucas, probably.
No,
Oh.
no. All the comedians who went there, Paulie,
Sure.
he loved it, and Kyle.
Kyle Cease?
You know, everybody I talked to that went there said, "Hey, it was great."
Well, that's good to hear. We like to hear that. Nobody's talking the other way about it, and we're definitely.
You guys were the big supporters of it. One of the big supporters of it.
Absolutely, and you're the talk of the town right now, Louie. I've seen your picture, you and Lucas on this flyer. I don't know if you've seen the flyers yet.
Oh, very funny, isn't it?
And it's all over town. Everybody's excited about it, and
you know those are actual size. That's how big Lucas really is.
That is. That's funny. Oh man. You know what? I do want to talk to you about a few things in your career. How long ago did you start? You make your TV debut appearance on Carson, right?
Yeah, November 20th, 1984.
Wow.
November 21st. Opened my career in Vegas the next night with me, Sam, Jim Carrey, Blake Clark, and I think Harry Basil.
Wow.
And we all went to the Dunes Hotel, the Comedy Store at the Dunes Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was it's always like, it's been a really, those two events were gigantic. Doing the Tonight Show.
Right.
And then the next night, performing in Las Vegas on the Strip. That was a pretty good 1-2 punch. I
bet it was. Well, your whole career, I mean, you've really stood the test of time over, the 80s and the 90s. I mean, you've been through Johnny Carson, through Jay Leno. Who the hell does that show now? I don't know.
Well, I've been on all those shows.
All of them. Every one of them.
I did all those shows, and there was, it's a great time, Back then, when you did the Tonight Show, it made your career.
Sure.
And doing those shows and working with all those great comedians and working at the Comedy Store, I've been really blessed, and I've been really thankful. I got to become friends with Rodney Dangerfield. He had me on the Young Comedian special,
wow.
Me and Sam Kinison, and Rita Rudner and
wow.
Bob Nelson and, all the people that were on that, and became friends with him, became friends with Joan Rivers and did her show.
Oh, really?
Became friends with Henny Youngman and wrote for him, and Jimmy Walker was very good to me.
Wow.
And I went on to there. This Eddie Murphy gave me a part in Coming to America, and that was a big thing.
Right. I remember that.
And then I created a cartoon called Life with Louie.
And I definitely remember that.
Oh, really?
I was going to ask you. That was really the only thing I had to ask you was if you would do your dad's voice from Life with Louie.
Yeah, I guess I would, huh?
I really did. I loved that cartoon, man. It's one of my favorites of all time.
Montana. Isn't that where the Canadians will invade?
Right.
Huh?
How close was Life with Louie to Louie's life, really?
Well, the great thing about Life with Louie is I was able to take all the things that were unpleasant and remove them and create a family that would have really been great to have and kind of recreate my family. And I could make my dad this really, my dad had his moments where he wasn't the nicest guy, but that character of my dad was very accurate. He was a wisecracking, know-it-all, American veteran, just who he was. What I did on that show, I would channel. It felt like I was channeling my dad when I would do the voice.
That's great. I always wondered if that was, if that was the case.
Yeah, because, I had to do the voice last. Because when I did my recordings, if I didn't do the dad voice last, I couldn't do the other voices after it. I was so exhausted.
Right.
Because it took a tremendous amount of concentration, and really, quite honestly, I tried to, really imagine my dad in all those situations. And a lot of those things that you hear on that show started out to be scripted, and then they let me do whatever I want with the dad, and then they worked around it, which was really great.